Hey guys, this is Coach Becca here, and welcome to my band workout. Here's what you'll need today. You'll need this small Theraband, about a moderate resistance is fine, as well as a resistance band, a resistance tubing, also moderate, and I'll put the links to those in the description below. We're going to begin with the Theraband circuit, and we're only going to do the Theraband circuit once. The resistance band and final circuit we're going to do 2 times through. So this is just a one-time activation prehab injury prevention set. So band around the knees bent 90 degrees, and just kind of get into a position where you can feel this. As simple as that sounds, that's the best way to approach this exercise. And today we're doing about 12 to 15 repetitions, but I'll demonstrate all of them with you. So I'll try to take my time on the first couple, and you can just jump in with me whenever you're ready. This is a great exercise for your glutes, gets you into a plane of movement that sometimes we don't always get into, and it really helps strengthen some of those muscles that will help you stay injury free. So here we go, glutes. Again, we're just opening at the knees, keeping our feet together. And I'm just in a position where I can feel this exercise. So if you feel like you don't feel it very much, try moving your feet in or out a little bit more. But for the most part, knees are 90 degrees, a little bit in front of the hips, and my feet are kind of in line with my hips, I'd say. You can do this up on your elbow or laying down, as I kind of prefer it here. I can just focus on my hip. Right where my hand is, I can kind of feel it with my thumb, right the muscle that I'm kind of working right in that area. So again, don't overthink this one. Just opening at the knees, keeping the feet together. The band, it's going to move around on you, so it's fine to just stop and readjust. Clamshell is a great exercise. This is something you could do probably every day, and it would help you. Awesome job. And now we're just going to keep the band right where it's at and lay on our back for a banded bridge. All you're going to do here is keep your feet shoulder width apart and lightly push into the band as you lift your hips off the floor. Here's a good time to start thinking about our breathing. So I want you to exhale as you press your hips up. Inhale through your nose as you lower down. That nose-mouth breathing is something you can always find as your source of control. So diaphragm breathing kind of applied into a workout session. I've found that to be really helpful as an endurance athlete as I work on my performance. So why not kind of be intentional about it here? A simple banded glute bridge with intentional breathing. Looking good, guys. Thanks for joining me again today. I always appreciate you guys out there that are really loyal and consistent doing my workouts as I post them. I really enjoy hearing from you and all of your great comments and encouraging feedback. So keep it up. We should only have a few left. Well done. That was about 20 repetitions there. So since we're only doing this band circuit once, a few more reps. All right, pull the band up around your pinky toes now, and notice my knees are stacked right above my hips, and my ankles are in line with my knees. Your feet in line with your knees. Arms, hands right above your shoulders, and I'm just gonna lower my right arm down as I extend my right leg, and then I'm gonna do my left side. Here's a great time to exhale as you extend, inhale as you come back in. Now, some of you might need a lighter band, a moderate band. This is a tough exercise, and you definitely don't want a thick band. This exercise is great for your core and your coordination, and the band just adds a little element that's going to force you to be a little more stable through your core. It's going to ask your glutes to fire a little bit harder. So if this feels like you don't have the hang of it, take the band out and do the same movement without the band. Totally fine to regress this exercise if you need to. Just an alternated dead bug with the band. This has been one of my favorite things to do before and or after a run session. Just to kind of open up my hips. Dead bugs lengthen your hip flexors, opposite of, say, a crunch where it would, tighten up your hip flexors, which we kind of have plenty of that anyways with all the running, cycling, or sitting. If you work in a chair all day, we get plenty of tight hip flexors from a lot of our daily movements. So the dead bug really helps open those up and fire your core. So great job. All right, adjust the band around the ankles and stand up. We're just going to do a lateral band walk. In place, so I'm going to have soft hips and soft knees. I'm going to take a big step out and a small step in. So big step out, small step in. And I was just kind of indicating there, I always kind of keep my feet shoulder width apart at the closest because I always want tension in my band. And I set my timer there. We're just doing 30 seconds here. It's a great time to focus on keeping the toes straight ahead and just kind of working on your lower half here. That's why I've been fine to chop my head off on some of these exercises. I really want you focused on your mechanics in your lower body. So focus on the hips, knees, and ankle position here. Big step, little step. Big step, little step. Always tension in the band. Well done. Now here's where you might need that post early on. I'm just going to hold on to my wall and do some standing hip flexions. What I want you to do is keep your joints stacked, your shoulders over hips, and then your hips over your bottom ankle, okay? That way you're not, dropping your chest forward just to gain a few extra inches of movement. It's fine if you're not getting your foot very high off the floor. We're just training the hip flexors to be strong here. So a little hip flexion. Cinch your core together. That's why I put my hand there, just to remind my core to kind of scrunch together, for lack of better words. I want my core to be my stable base. And I want healthy and strong hip flexors, not chronically tight hip flexors. There's a difference in training your hip flexors and having tight hip flexors. You do need to train certain movements even if they're tight muscles. So let's get on to this exercise now, hip extension. So you're actually lengthening your hip flexors, much like you do in the dead bug. This requires your glutes and your hamstrings to work, and this one's really easy to want to drop your chest. So really force your glutes to do the heavy lifting here. Don't force the movement. Don't feel like you have to kick really large. Just really avoid dropping that chest, and you can see even I'm sneaking forward just a little bit. I'm really trying to keep my shoulders back. My left side's a little bit weaker, so I'm really gonna have to be intentional there using my hamstrings and glutes. Good job on those hip extensions. If you're somebody with a hip injury, you could maybe just do 2 sets of the extensions instead of doing the flexion. You can totally adapt that way. And here we've got some lateral leg raises. These work the same muscles as that lateral band walk. I like to do standing leg raise because there I just indicated I have to use my core to keep my shoulders over my hips and avoid cheating by leaning into the movement. So a great one for your glutes, a great one even for your core in a way, because your core is going to really work to keep you upright. And with that, we're going to roll the band down to the pinky toes now. And do one of my favorite exercises again to help build strength and resilience in your running form. So if you're not a runner, this one's still great for, say, if you hike or even walking. This is something that can help with fall injury prevention when you're getting older. So still a beneficial exercise even if you're not per se a runner. So draw those knees up as high as you can. This is a great time to think about maybe not pronating or supinating if you do that when you run, and it'll also help you with your arm drive. So notice I'm not crossing my midline when I do those. I'm just really focused on that clean arm drive. Okay, keep the band around the toes. This is my favorite. I love a penguin walk. We're just gonna take teeny tiny steps forward, kind of like you're chopping your feet, but you're keeping that band taut. So you're keeping your feet shoulder width apart. We're just gonna go about 10 steps forward on each foot, 10 steps backwards. And we're gonna do this 3 times total. So here's 2 of 3. Just some tiny steps forward, and notice I'm just keeping the band in one spot, just taking really small steps. It's almost like you got duct tape to your feet. That's how it's gonna feel, because the band's gonna kind of stick to the floor a little bit. One more time now, forward and backwards. You should feel this really in the sides, like right in your hips, kind of IT band and glute area. Great exercise. And it's just fun. I always feel like a penguin when I do these, so hey-ho. All right, well done, you guys. We're gonna go ahead and pull the band up around the kneecaps now, cross the arms, and just drop into a basic trunk squat. The band's just gonna provide a little resistance, so we've gotta push into that. So it's just a nice variation on a traditional squat. Nothing fancy here. Here's a posture, just a glance from the side. Don't overthink it. Keep it simple, just a little variety today. Banded squat, banded trunk squat. We're doing 15 repetitions on the banded trunk squat. Again, I'll focus kind of on that lower body, a little bit on the posture. That's why we have the arms crossed there at the shoulders. All right, keeping the band at the knees. And I just indicated there to stack your joints, shoulders over hips, over knees. Now I've got really soft hips. You got to really bend at your hips and knees here. And what you're doing is allowing the knee to cave in. So you're going to allow that band to pull towards the midline. And then you're going to push out. So that's external rotation of your hip. And it's going to strengthen all the muscles that cause that movement. Try to not do this with your ankle. See, I'm kind of just keeping my feet as flat as I can. And here's a side view, and I've switched legs too. And you can just kind of see how I'm allowing that knee to roll in, a little bit of movement in the feet, but really that's not what's causing the movement. My hips are really what's causing the movement. That's why I like to put my hands on my hips so I can kind of feel those hip muscles working for me. So again, you're going to let the knee go towards the midline, and then you're going to push it away from your midline. Feet under the shoulders, soft hips, soft knees, soft feet. Very good. You're done with the Theraband now, so you can grab your resistance tubing, and we're going to do 2 upper body band circuits. So what you're going to do is step 1 foot into the band for really light resistance, 2 feet into the band for strong resistance, and then you're going to spread your feet apart if you want really strong resistance. And since we're doing 20 bicep curls, it's up to you and how thick your band is and your tubing is on how much you want to push the distance there. So 20 repetitions here. We're going to do this whole circuit again in a moment. So just a few quick movements with the band, mostly upper body. Just a little toning here. Looking super strong. Well done, you guys. I know it's a long set of 20 repetitions. Hang in there. All right, up next we're gonna do a static curl. Take one arm and hold it at 90 degrees while you complete bicep curls on the other arm. We're gonna do 12 bicep curls on the other arm while just holding an isometric or a static position at 90 degrees on the other side. Make sure you really keep that arm at 90 degrees too. Switch sides. Check on it often because it's easy to let that arm or that hand slip higher or lower. I love this one because it's working on endurance by holding one side static and then letting the other arm work in concentric eccentric or raise and lower. All right, 12 repetitions with both arms now. So you should definitely feel that fatigue from holding in that static or that isometric position. I love playing on tempos like that. I feel like it's really sport specific to me as a runner. And the position my arms have to be in for 90 minutes to 3 hours. So I like that one. All right, single arm tricep extensions. Place see, this is gonna be my right foot, so just try to follow along with me so it's simple. Right foot in back, and if you want a lot of tension, you're gonna move your foot along on that band just like I was showing. Now bring your right arm up, bending at the elbow so it's right by your temple, and your left foot's just lightly in front. So you're in a split stance position. And you're just gonna bend and straighten at your elbow to work your triceps. You're doing 15 tricep extensions on each side. And if it feels like the tension is too light, just slide your foot closer to the handle that's going up and down. So just kind of slide that band around and you'll get more tension. If it's too hard, you wanna slide your foot the other way and give yourself a little less tension. So just find the sweet spot. And we are gonna do a second set of all these, so you guys are gonna get a whole nother chance to do these if this feels confusing or you're not quite in the right spot. Try to just get a feel for the exercise this round. All right, so 15 on the other side now. This is my left arm. And even if you want to, you can just, like I was doing there, you can just put your elbow right by your temple if needed. That'll help keep you from pushing the arm out or in or doing anything funky or weird there. We wanna really feel it right in the back of the arms, right in those triceps. Well done. Up next, we've got bent over rows, a great way to work your upper back area, the posterior chain, or the back side of your body. So feet in the bands shoulder width apart, and then you're just gonna cross the bands. That's it. As you pull the handles up towards your armpit, you're squeezing between the shoulder blades. And notice how I'm keeping my chest dropped. If you were to do this standing straight up, you'd be working your shoulder blades instead of your upper back muscles. So you could do a standing upright row and that would change the muscles. So I'm in this position, this dropped over position, to work my back muscles. If it feels like it's not enough tension, spread your feet further apart. If it feels like too much tension, bring your feet closer together. It's okay to have a little slack at the bottom. All right, well done. And our last movement is for your spine and your posture. It's an overhead squat. One of my favorite things to do. Great, great movement, great foundational pattern. I use this as a movement screen for all my clients. So you're gonna wrap the band around your hands a few times and kind of line it up right where my ponytail is. If you don't have a ponytail, the back of your head is fine. And you want a decent amount of tension, but it shouldn't feel too hard. And you're just gonna do some squats with that overhead, okay? And this is a great way to kind of check on your depth. Here I'm hitting 90 degrees. but my posture is what's really is really the focus of this, and the band directly overhead will help kind of measure where your posture is while you're doing this exercise. So if you want to film yourself from the side and kind of track your progress, as well as the depth that you're able to go while keeping your knees in line with your toes and all that good stuff, it's a great movement screen. So you can kind of track your progress just with that. And just like that, we're back at regular bicep curls. So this is the one where you can put one foot in, both feet in shoulder width apart to make it easy, moderate, or hard. And you've got 20 bicep curls, regular old curls, and we'll do static curls on deck. We are repeating all the movements that I just taught you. I'm sure you've done several of them before, so it might not be anything new to you. If it is something new to you, here's your chance to practice what you just learned. So just regular old bicep curls, 20 repetitions, just some endurance in the arms. Definitely one of those toning, look good, feel good exercises. Coming up next, we'll have that static bicep curl that I taught you in round 1. And here we go. So we're gonna bend one arm at 90 degrees and do 12 curls on the other arm. This is just playing around with that isometric concept or static concept. One arm's gotta kind of hold taut while the other arm works up and down for you. So definitely playing on some change of speed there. Let's switch sides. Other arm, same thing. Hold 90 degrees, 12 reps on the other arm. Nice smooth tempo though. Try not to rush it just because your arm's getting tired holding. And 12 curls with both arms. Finishing strong, you're done with this after this circuit. We'll be moving on after we do all of these movements twice. So curls, static curls, tricep extensions, rows, and overhead squats are our main band set today. Excellent work. And here's that single arm tricep. So back foot is what's gonna be your resistance adjuster, if you will. That's kind of like changing the pin on a machine to make it easy, moderate, or hard. So you can adjust that there. Elbow up by your temple, 90 degrees, just bending and straightening at the elbow. 15 triceps per side. That nice split stance position. Just training the back of the arms there. Looking strong. You might feel a little bit of fatigue from the first round, and that's okay. Let's switch sides here. If you want to make it easier or harder on the second round, you certainly can do that just by changing your foot position on the band. Remember to breathe evenly, exhaling as you straighten your arm out, inhaling as you recover or bring your arm down. We just passed the halfway mark on our workout, so you're doing awesome. Great job. Let's move into those bent over rows. Again, step into the band, kind of just outside the shoulders there for a good amount of tension. Cross the bands, keep the chest dropped, and pull those handles up to the armpits. Exhale as you pull the handles up. And I didn't mention this in the first round, but I'm just doing an overhand style bent over row. So that's the position my hands are in, and they stay in that position for the most part. Let your hands move naturally. If you feel them rotating a little bit, that's fine. Really pull that tummy taut and keep that chest dropped if you want to train the back of the shoulders. If you want to do upright rows, you're more than welcome to and get the shoulders that way. But today I'm really wanting to focus on bent over rows for my workout, so I invite you to join me there. 15 repetitions here. Again, if you want to make it harder, spread your feet further apart. And of course, the exercise I was just gushing over in the first round, the overhead squat. Like I said, you can film yourself doing this if you'd like. Wrap that band up so you have some decent amount of tension, nothing too crazy, just enough to wake up your posture. Get your feet going just outside the shoulders, slightly turned out is fine. Get your breathing under control, inhale down, exhale up. And just think about keeping the joints stacked, having great posture, using your core, legs, and upper body all at once. A great foundational movement, and it's your second time doing them today. You're doing 15 repetitions. Excellent job. All right, up next, we're gonna do a circuit using the Theraband and the resistance tubing, and just like this circuit, we're gonna do 2 rounds. You can place the Theraband around your knees, and it'll stay there for really the next 12 minutes, so no adjusting there. We will adjust the tubing a little bit, so kind of like how you had the tubing set up for overhead squats, we're gonna kind of get in that same position, wrap it up around your hands a little bit, nothing too crazy, but a little tighter for this one. We're gonna do a banded squat to a banded press, and that's what it looks like from the side there. You're gonna exhale as you push that tubing away from you, lowering into your squat. It's as simple as it sounds. Band around the knees, band around your hands, just pushing and pulling. That's it. Just adding some multi-planar movements in. So just by adding that chest press in, the movement your body's doing is crossing planes of movement. So it's super functional because it's a compound movement, and it's also a multi-planar movement. So very exciting for me. So I could go on and on about it, but I'll just let you guys do these awesome banded squats to a banded press. About 15 repetitions there. And from here, you're gonna undo that band, and you're gonna need to secure your band on a stable post. I'm gonna use this post I have right here, wrapping the band around it, like so. And then I'm gonna feed the tubing through the handle so it stays secure and at the position I want it, which is about shoulder height. So if you need to pause it and find something there, you can also have somebody hold it, but make sure you trust them. All right, feet shoulder width apart, and I'm just gonna do some banded rotations. Keeping your arms straight, rotate as far away as you can from the attachment point. 15 per side. And I'm keeping my knees and hips soft here, and I'm just swiveling on the upper half. So I'm really isolating my obliques and really isolating rotation on this particular day. You can do a lot of variations of this. Step out a little further, and now starting at your sternum, exhale and press the handle straight out from your sternum or your breastbone. Just push straight out. And this is a great anti-rotational exercise that will work your core stability and your obliques. So a lot of good movements there. It's also gonna work your arms a teensy bit. So a really nice functional exercise that we don't see very often, and it's a great one. Now we're gonna hold the band straight in front of our chest and do a lateral band walk, exactly like what we did at the beginning, but just by holding that band straight out from our chest, it's gonna be pretty hard for our core. So now we've got the glutes and the core working in multiple planes of movement. One, just by holding the band stable, and then with the band, you're playing on some different tempos there. So band walk plus a pail off hold. It's hard. I'm definitely pushing through it a little bit here, but I'm wincing. I'm feeling it for sure, and I hope you are too. Well done. Don't worry, you're gonna get a second chance at all these. Now with the outside arm, you're gonna hold the band with one hand and just keep your arm straight, open like you're opening a door. Straight across the body, shoulder abductions. And we're gonna do about 12 to 15 here. A slight bend in the elbow is okay, but I'm just standing straight up and isolating my shoulder here. A great injury prevention exercise for your shoulder. Well done. And now we're gonna do that same circuit on the other side. So we're gonna start off with just those standing core rotations, soft knees and hips there, isolating the obliques, just rotating away from that attachment point. Again, just focus on those obliques or the core muscles on the sides of your body there. Try to keep the arms mostly straight. And I'm just gonna turn so you can see me a little bit better here, but we're gonna do that pal off press. You can see on the other side when I was facing you all better that I was pushing straight from the middle of my chest, straight from your midline, soft knees and hips, pushing straight out. And if it doesn't feel like you have enough tension, you can just step away from that attachment point a little bit more. Those bands are pretty stable, so don't be afraid to give yourself some good tension. All right, now holding the arms straight out, we're gonna do the pal off hold plus band walk. And I'm just doing about 10 steps in each direction, so about 20 steps total, with that handle straight out away from me. Working the core and the glutes and the arms. This is a really good total body movement that, like I said, is kind of an isometric, but also you got something going on the bottom there. So while you're holding that band straight out and maintaining that tight core contraction, your legs are working for you. All right, shoulder abductions. So now the outside arm is just gonna hold on to the handle, and kind of just go across the body and then open outside of the body. Bringing that band all the way back and then opening, kind of like you're opening a door. You should feel that right in the shoulder blades, really good for your rotator cuff, upper back muscles, posture muscles. Nice injury prevention exercise. Well done. And our last exercise in this circuit is a single arm row. So I'm going to squat down a little deeper here, and I'm just going to do a single arm pull right to the armpit. This is a neutral grip that I have here. 15 per side. Soft knees and hips, kind of a mini squat there. This one's just, again, great for the arms, little endurance here. Nice pull exercise to train those back muscles. It's easy to get caught up in the front half of our body, always pushing, chest press, push-ups, squats, lunges. That really trains us to the front a lot. And all these exercises are great for training the backside, evening things out. All right, so it's round 2 time, nothing you haven't done before. Now you just get a little better at each movement that you learned or did in the first round. So taut band, so wrap that band around the hands quite a few times, band around the knees as promised, and you're gonna do a band squat to a band press. 15 repetitions, training the arms and the legs in a compound movement that's also a multi-planar movement. So enjoy. And it's time to secure the band now. Well done on those banded squats to banded press. So secure the band as you did in round 1, around a stable post, looping the tubing through the handle, securing it so that it's shoulder height. And we've got cable rotations or core rotations. 15 per side. And it's time for paddle off presses. Keep those knees and hips soft as you push the handle away, straight away from your midline as you exhale and inhale. Hold that band in the extended position, and it's time for paddle off hold with a lateral band walk. 10 steps in each direction. Should take us about 30 seconds. Stay with me here. I'll do every step with you. Well done. And it's time for shoulder abductions. So with the outside arm, if you need to step in a little bit there so you have a little easier range of motion, you should be able to fully open that arm with a mostly straight arm. So if you needed more tension for your core exercises, you can step in for the shoulder abductions. About 12 to 15 per side is what we're looking for. And you can just stand straight up on this great shoulder exercise. All right, we're in the home stretch now. Same circuit, other side. Core rotations first. 15 core rotations. Arms straight, rotating away from that anchor point. And paddle off presses, so soft knees and hips, push away from that midline, exhaling as you do so. 15 repetitions. And hold the band straight out. It's time for the pull-off hold and lateral walk. 10 steps each direction as you hold that band strictly from the midline. Keep it in one spot. Working the core and the glutes. Well done. And it's time for shoulder abduction. Step in slightly, hold with the outside hand, open and close with just that outside hand, keeping the arm as straight as you can, opening as much as you can, working those shoulders, working that rotator cuff. And last but certainly not least, our single arm band rows, still with that band around our knees, soft knees, so we'll get a little bit of work in the lower body here while we work those upper body, core, and upper back muscles with that single arm row. Stay low enough so you can feel that band working. Switch sides here. Finish out with 15 band rows. This is your last exercise, guys, so we're at the home stretch now. You're doing awesome. All right, and you're done. Very good. You can take the band off, unhook your tubing, and just want to say thanks for joining. You guys have done an awesome job following along. I can't wait to see you again soon. Don't be afraid to DM me with some suggestions for videos you'd like to see. Hit subscribe to stay up to date on all my recent videos, and visit www.kawokacoaching.com for recipes, wellness blogs, and more. See you soon.